Stephanie Chung, your go-to for all things marketing, mindset, and manifestation. I grew my online business from 0 to beyond 6 figures in 8 months. My purpose is to empower women to step into the highest, most aligned versions of themselves. If you are ready to take charge of your life, learn how to design a wildly successful business, and leave limiting beliefs behind, you've come to the right place. You will learn the actionable tips and step-by-step strategies on money, manifestation, and social media. It's time to step into your role as boss, to raise your vibration and tap into your unlimited potential today. Welcome to the Social Reset Podcast. Magic Mind enrollment is coming up on August 28th, and enrollment closes midnight September 1st. Magic Mind is the mastermind, my business mastermind for spirit-led coaches who desire creating more conviction, more confidence, and a unique marketing and sales strategy that works specifically for your business, your energy, your vision. And you have me in your corner along with other like-minded, soul-aligned coaches. And we come together to support you, to hold you, to strategize, to execute, and also evaluate so that you build a successful and joyful business. If you have been selling a signature coaching offer for a while now, you've been building experience, you have one main offer that you're selling, and you want to create more conviction in your sales, you want a clear marketing process, a clear sales process in your business that you know turns on the faucet to sales, to abundance, then this is your opportunity to join us inside the Magic Mind room. I am so excited to be opening up the doors to the October 2023 class. We have so many exciting things happening in this container, including an in-person 3-day event to kick off the mastermind. You're going to learn all the tools you need to know. You are going to get coached on your offer, on your marketing, on your sales, in what's going to create sales in your business, create aligned fuck yes clients in your business. You're going to gain clarity on questions that are floating around or things that you feel stuck on. You're going to be committed to the decisions you make. And in the next 5 months in the mastermind, you are going to execute on them. You're going to experiment and test and take action, and you're going to evaluate, and you're going to learn how to show up in your business, not just as a coach that's honing their skill set with clients, creating incredible client results, but also as a CEO making high-level decisions that has a plan, that has a clear process, and knows who they are. I cannot wait to see you inside this round of Magic Mind. The link is in the show notes to make sure you're on the wait list when applications open. It's also going to give you access to early application to get your application in a little early to save your spot. And it's first come, first serve. I want you to grab your spot if you believe that you are meant to be in this container. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. I cannot wait to serve you and blow things up in your business in the best way. All right. I will talk to you soon. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about what might be happening in your business when you are not seeing sales in your business, when you are not seeing sales in your specific offer. And we're going to go through a couple of the main reasons, and I'm going to give you solutions to fix each of these issues. All right, so let's jump right into it. I do not want to see more business owners struggling with these very quick fixes and ways of building intimacy with your business, if it's something that you can identify. I think the biggest thing too is like sometimes we just don't see what we don't see. We don't know what we don't know. And when we're so tunnel vision and we're so deep in it, it's like you're way too deep and someone else comes in and goes like, hey, this is the one thing that you need to fix. And you're like, what? How did you see that? I've been trying to figure it out for months, right? It's because like we've just been so buried deep in our work. It's so close to us that we don't see it because we have blind spots, and that's normal. That's a human part of running a human business. And another reason why mentorship, being a part of a mastermind, working with a coach is so powerful and so useful, especially when you are still growing your business, you're growing to 6 figures, you are learning what it takes to become a really great coach and CEO. There's just going to be so much that you are still learning to navigate in your business, which means you aren't going to see and understand everything that comes up for you. Right? You having and working with somebody who is able to pinpoint these things for you and help you to see that is really, really powerful. Okay, so let's go into some of the reasons why you might not be seeing sales in your offer. The way I want you to look at this before I get into 1, 2, 3, and 4 is I want you to think of it as like a math equation. I don't like math. I'm not a big math person. I was not good at math. I've failed math so many times. My brain does not really think in numbers at all. My brain thinks in words, and I love words. I'm not a good math person. But I do understand this much. I understand that if you use a formula and you plug in the right numbers into the formula, you will always get a clear right answer, right? It won't be a maybe, like it could be that, but it also could be this, right? Math is not like creative writing, which is what I wanted to major in. Ended up majoring in communication. That's very gray, right? Very gray. We talked a lot about psychology, right? It's very like, it's not black or white, whatever, right? Math is black and white. So when you have a formula and you plug in the numbers, say the answer is 3, the answer is always going to be 3. No matter how you spin it, no matter what you do through the formula, the answer is always going to be 3. Right? And even if you take something simple and it's not a formula, it's just a multiplication question. If you multiply 10 times 10, it's always going to be 100, right? 10 times 10 is not one day just going to suddenly be 111. It's going to be 100. And if you don't get 100, or if you don't get 3, or if you don't get that number, it just means something in the formula went wrong. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're not good at math. It doesn't mean that you don't know how to do this. It just means, hey, something in the math ain't mathin', right? You got to go back, figure out what happened. Remember when we did math homework and the teacher would say, okay, show your work. How did you get to this answer? Who knew I'd be using a math? My mom would be so proud. A math analogy, right? When teachers would be like, hey, show your work. How did you get 10? Right? Because then you know if the answer is not actually 10, it's actually 12, you get to trace your answer back and go, oh, okay, I didn't cross this over, or I did the math wrong and I did something a step earlier that I missed or something, right? That you get to go back and be like, okay, got it, right? It's honestly the same thing in your business. When you are aligned in the offer you are selling, in the offers that you have in general in your business, if your pricing is aligned, if your messaging is clear, if your beliefs are a 10 out of 10, about yourself, about your clients, if you have a clear marketing and sales strategy, you're going to make money in your business, right? And of course, if you're using those things, if you are maintaining those things, if you are showing up consistently on social media, right? If you are actively selling, if you are actively pursuing these things, you will make sales in your business, guaranteed. Like, I will guarantee that. And I don't make a lot of guarantees as a business coach, right? But I can guarantee that if you have a clear marketing and sales strategy, you are showing up on social media talking about your offer, you are positioning yourself as the go-to for whatever it is your niche. You are self-coaching yourself. You're working on managing your mind. There is no way that you will not make sales in your business, right? So when you are feeling stagnant or when your sales feel a little bit infrequent, let's see how we can clean that up. Okay. So number one is when you are messaging and when you're creating messaging and marketing, you're not actually speaking to your most aligned clients. You might think that you are, but if you're not booking clients consistently, or maybe you're not booking the clients that you want to work with, then there's something that's a little disconnected. Okay. So I want to ask you, if I go on your Instagram right now, will it be 100% clear exactly what you coach on? And not in coach language. Like sometimes we use fluffy language or like spiritual language that we understand what we mean when we say that. But a client who's booking a coach for, say, the first time will not understand, or it's too vague in general and they're not sure if you coach on specifically what they're looking for, right? I'll go into more of that. I'll go into more of that in a second. Another question, will I clearly understand, if I were to go on your Instagram, will I clearly understand the issue that you help your clients solve and the transformation that you offer? Now, sometimes, I follow people, and I've been a content creator for years before I started my business. And I follow a lot of really inspirational people. Like, I follow a lot of people that I'm like, yeah, I love following them. Their content is amazing, super entertaining. But if they were to become a coach, or if they were a coach and I wasn't seeing that in their content, I wouldn't know that they even offer a transformation unless it's something that they are deliberately, actively talking about, right? So you want to ask yourself, am I just being an entertainer on social media, or am I showing up as a business? And as a business, you have to sell, right? Like me and Alaska go into Target all the time. And we're never like, oh, Target is so salesy today. Or like, oh, Target keeps selling, right? Keep seeing ads for Target, like keep seeing, all these things for Target. It's like, well, yeah, they're a business. That's what they do. You are a business. You have to keep selling in order to make sales, right? And then the other question I want to ask if I were to go on your Instagram is it clear what action you want me to take? So for example, and I tell my students this, like, if someone were to find you today and binge your content, what is the number one action you want them to take? And don't give them like 15 different actions. Make it clear, make it one main action that you want them to take in order to get more info or to book a sales call, right? So maybe it's like, hey, DM me for details, or click the link in my bio for a free sales call. And this is what we would do on the free sales call. Okay. And if they are DMing you for more info, what is the information on? What can they expect to hear? Who is this a best fit for? You essentially want to lay it all out for them to make it extremely easy for them to make this decision. Make sure that your links are working. Make sure that it's very clear. Like, go through it as if you were a customer, a client, right? If there's like hoops that you have to jump through and you have to click this and then this and then this, or it's on your website, but it's like hidden and it's hard to find, like don't make your people have to jump through hoops. Just don't do it, right? Make it really clear. Like I would go on your Instagram right now and look and see, is that clear? Right? My number one action is I want them to download this freebie. It's a free resource for my best fit clients. And I have an email sequence that goes along with it. And one of the emails is asking them to book a sales call with me. That's all set up, looks good, good to go. Right? If not that, then it's a link to book a sales call. As soon as they click the link, a scheduler pops up and it has all the available dates that I'm free for the entire month, and they can choose their time, put in their information, maybe answer a few questions, and boom, they're scheduled, right? Maybe it even has an option to add it to their calendar. Okay. And you have a process, and you know when you get on that sales call, you know what to say to them. You know questions to ask, you know how to position yourself, right? And you know that maybe there's a process that goes with it, right? Like beforehand, you're following up with them and reminding them, hey, this is the Zoom link, this is the sales call. Okay. You want to make this really clear and really simple. Your most aligned clients should know without a shadow of a doubt, you are the best coach for them. And once they realize that, you want to make sure that they know what action to take. Okay. And that action can change, right? Like it doesn't need to be that forever. It just needs to be that for the specific season in which it makes the most sense. Okay. So for example, if you're about to launch a program and you want to promote the wait list for it, then maybe that is your main offer and you're not too worried about growing your email list and sharing your free resource. Then maybe the main action is get on the wait list for this program, right? And if you have a link tree or you have a links landing page connected to your website, then you can have more than one link, but I wouldn't have more than like 3 or 4 at a time that you want to have as your main action. Okay. Keep it simple, keep it easy, keep it really, really easy to take that action. Okay. And yeah, you want to be clear on how you're messaging to your people. Okay. So that's something that you want to clean up. If you feel like you resonated with some of these questions, if you feel like you don't have a main action, you don't have clarity in your content, right? Then the answer to not seeing sales or more sales might be a messaging problem for you. So the way I want you to fix it is look at your offer or offers. When you're talking about your offer or offers, is it confusing? Are they overlapping, right? Are you clear on exactly who this is for and how you can help them, right? You want to make sure that that is so clear. And if you're not clear on that, that means you need to do more market research. It means you need to work with more clients, right? Like maybe you need to hop on a Zoom call with somebody and ask them like, hey, what is it, when can we jump on a Zoom call if you're open to helping me with some questions, some market research questions, because I want to understand exactly where my clients are having issues or what they're looking for in their business or in their life, and I want to be a better coach. Are you open to me asking some questions about that? Okay, so that's one way you can do it. You can look at previous call recordings, coaching calls, or application forms that you have had previous clients fill out. Now, don't necessarily do this or take it with a grain of salt if it's clients that you didn't enjoy working with or were not your aligned clients. Like that's not going to help you. But if you've worked with people already, which I'm assuming you have, that have already been your most aligned clients, I would go back, listen to the messaging, listen to some of the issues that came up in the coaching calls. What were some of the questions and conversations you were having in the DMs? This is also why I recommend recording your sales calls. And if you're in Magic Mind, you can record your sales calls and send them in Slack. Let me know when you start selling and, what the timestamps are for some of the things that you want feedback on. Like, this is a really great way to get clear on your selling process and what's actually happening in your sales calls. Because if you're getting no after no after no, or you are getting yeses and nos here and there, but you want to clean up the no's, it's likely something that's happening in the sales call or the messaging, and you really want to be able to clean that up, because sometimes we don't even know what we're doing, right? So that's really, really useful to have. And another thing you can do to work on your messaging is look at how you're showing up, right? Like, do an audit of your Instagram or the main place that you're marketing, and just look at how many times have you actually been actively selling? I think sometimes in our heads we think oh my gosh, we've been doing it so much. We're such a bother, right? Like, everyone has seen it, everyone knows, right? But how many times have you actually actively been selling, say in the last 2 weeks? Right? Look at your messaging. Is it extremely clear? Like, if someone were to just stumble upon that post for the first time, they don't know anything about you. They haven't been following you, right? They don't know you in person. Would it be clear to them what it is that you offer and how you can help them, right? Is it just focused on the details of the program? Like, it's 4 months long and you get Voxer coaching and you get this and that, and there's a bonus of blah, blah, blah. Is it clear on the transformation and not just the details? Like, what will they walk away with? All right. Number 2, you are not consistently self-coaching and managing your thoughts about yourself, your offer, and your clients. All right, so here's the thing. You are a human with a human brain. So this means that you could have been self-coaching yourself around all of the intentional things that you really want to work on, like your offer, yourself, your beliefs around your clients, because you already know that if you don't do this, it is going to intervene and intercept when you're messaging, when you're selling, all of the things, right? So you want to keep those thoughts very clean and clear. So you could be doing that for a whole week straight, and then 2 weeks later, you'll still have some mind drama, right? Or even 2 days later, and it impacts the way that you sell. It is a constant and ongoing work to manage your mind and reprogram sneaky subconscious beliefs that hold you back. Now, I will say, a lot of these beliefs, they come up in the beginning because they're being triggered by things you've never done before, like having to show up in front of a bigger audience or talk vulnerably about your past struggles in order to connect with your paying clients, right? Or, maybe you're not used to selling and being seen as a salesperson and working on those beliefs for yourself. So there's a lot of beliefs that you're shifting in, the first from 0 to 6 figures. However, and they get easier, right, is what I'm saying. It's they do get easier. However, there is a certain level of maintenance that we just have to do as coaches in general, as entrepreneurs, because we have human brains, and our human brains want us to keep us really, really safe, really, really in our comfort zone. And entrepreneurship, honestly, it's about taking a lot of risks. It's about being daring. It's about putting yourself out there. It's about crazy levels of unregulated nervous system and having to process your emotions, right? If you're not down for that, this is, the wrong industry, because there's just so much on such a constant basis. And especially as your audience continues building and growing and expanding, it's just going to be more of it. And you're just going to have to create a bigger tolerance and expand your capacity for more opinions and more thoughts and more feedback, more client feedback from people in your group containers, right? People on the internet not agreeing with what you're saying saying and being really loud about it, right? You're gonna have to manage your mind, and it does get easier to learn how to manage your mind, and certain beliefs and situations also get easier as well, just because you've been dealing with it for longer and you let it bother you less. So it isn't just about, okay, well, I self-coached 2 months ago. Why is this coming up again? Or I thought I thought this was fine. I thought I didn't have to work on this. I thought everything was good and now it's coming back again, or whatever it may be around our mindset. This is something that we need to keep in check over and over and over. Right? Like, it's going to be something that just keeps coming up. It's not going to go away. It's not going to, it's not going to disappear anywhere. Self-coaching is going to be a tool that you want to utilize throughout your entire business and lifetime. Okay, so you want to ask yourself, like, are you catching yourself spiraling in mind drama? Are you taking a long time making decisions in your business? Are you focused maybe on just taking action and not actually self-coaching or processing your emotions? Because that's also an issue as well. And that can also create less sales, is because you're doing too much and you're not spending enough time with your mind and your energy and your body. Okay. So what I would do is find and maintain a self-coaching practice. Now, self-coaching is going to look a little different from person to person. And there isn't necessarily, I was going to say there isn't a wrong way to do it, but there is a wrong way to do it. Like, there is a way where you can use it to shame yourself or make yourself feel like I don't know, our brains are just, they can be silly. I'll create a whole other episode on self-coaching myself. I actually have a post on it on my Instagram right now on choosing a new belief. I self-coach in different ways, however, so that might not be the best resource, even though it is really helpful for what I'm about to share right now. But yeah, you want to be able to coach yourself on your beliefs, right? Like the way you would coach your clients. Like, we're all coaches here. If you're listening to this podcast, like, you're a coach, you know how to coach, right? Like, that's not something that you need to spiral out about. It is more so, how are you holding space for yourself when you are experiencing mind drama? Okay. The way that you would hold space for a client, and sometimes that's a really good question, is asking yourself, okay, if this is a session with a client and the client has this thought, what would I offer them? What would I say to them? How would I coach them on this? Right? And the way that I'll self-coach myself sometimes is I'll write out the specific thought that I'm thinking or the belief I'm feeling, whichever feels stronger or more apparent. And I will identify all the things that are coming up for me in my body, in my mind, right? How am I feeling? What am I thinking? Where is this coming from? What triggered this? What is the situation that has, created this? And then I will sit and I will create intentional thoughts and beliefs and feelings. Like, if I felt like I was, if the feeling that I was feeling as I was self-coaching was, drained or sad, frustrated, I might just choose one, but I'm just throwing out a couple examples. I might create an intentional thought, and based on what I want to achieve, I would create a feeling that I want to feel in my body based on how that thought would make me feel, right? So if I'm thinking of shifting from I feel or I think that marketing is really hard, right? And the feeling is drained. Let's just choose one. I might shift the intentional thought into I am open to seeing all the ways that I can enjoy marketing. And then the feeling might be expansive, right? This is expanding for me. And that might be something that I sit with and that I feel in my body and allow those feelings to go into my body, right? Like I actually sit and feel them right away. And I make that really distinct and clear. Okay. So that's something that I would sit with. Is self-coaching is really, really important. This is something that I do multiple times a week. Sometimes I do it every single day, and sometimes I do it multiple times a day. I don't always sit down and write it all out on a piece of paper or grab a notebook and have it all clear. Sometimes I do it in my head and I just sit and maybe turn on some music, or I just sit in silence and I literally coach myself and tell myself what I would say and how I would offer myself support and guidance around this. Sometimes I call in my highest self to see how my highest self dealt with the situation in the future. Sometimes I call on the spirit of my business for support and guidance. So there's so many ways that you can approach this. And I would just recommend finding a self-coaching practice. Okay. All right. The next one is you don't know how to close your clients, or you haven't figured out a unique strategy in the way that your specific audience wants to be closed. And that is also partially dictated by you, right? So you might not be seeing frequent sales in your business because the way that you are attempting to close your clients isn't working. So you may feel aligned in these other areas I'm talking about, but maybe when it comes down to the sales call or the DM conversation, and potential clients are maybe sharing objections to your pricing, to your offer, to your container, ask yourself if you're responding with an energy of like, oh, it's okay. Like, let me know if you change your mind. No worries. Like, just get back to me anytime. Okay, bye. Right? Like, I find that it's either that, or you feel like you need to respond in a way that is like pushy or graspy, or you get into this weird zone where you aren't even showing up as yourself. You're like, oh my God, I have to make the sale. I have to get the yes, right? Which isn't true either. There's a way to have a conversation that's very consensual and very empowering for both ends and come to a decision together, right? And that's what I do in my sales conversations. I don't do sales calls anymore unless you've been accepted into my mastermind, Magic Mind, and then we'll hop on sales call and coach. But at that point, you're already accepted into the program. But I don't do like public sales calls. Like nobody can just randomly book a call with me anymore and for me to sell to them. I sell directly through my marketing, and eventually you are going to get to a place where you sell directly through your marketing. And if you're joining us in Magic Mind, I actually teach you how to do that ahead of time, so that one day when you're like overbooked with sales calls, my sales calls used to be booked out 2 months in advance. I had so much demand and I started just feeling so drained jumping on sales calls. I didn't even have time for them because I had so many clients. You're going to get to a place where you have so much demand in your business that you won't even have time for sales calls. They're literally going to just hold you back. And you're going to get to a point where your marketing needs to be so clear, so crystal clear that they do not even need a sales call to book with you. Right? That is why I always say it's so powerful to work one-on-one with students, because you get to deep dive into all of the issues, all of the fears, all the thoughts, all of the beliefs, all of the scarcity that's coming up for them. And now you have all this data that turns into content. And then when you create messaging and marketing, all of it is outlined so clearly that you could pop out with a course and outline every single thing that this course covers and explain it on a sales page or in Instagram posts through your messaging. And someone can literally just, you can send them the payment link and they'll be in, or they go to your sales page on their own and they'll just pay you up front because your messaging is so clear. But you don't get that right away. Like you need to earn it. Like that is something you need to earn through coaching. Nobody has killer content right off the bat, unless you have some type of experience, like job experience going into your coaching business. Nobody has crystal clear messaging going straight into their coaching business. You have to fail over and over and over and over again, work with a ton of nightmare clients, not a ton, but you have to work with some unaligned clients in order to be like, okay, I don't want to really coach on this, or I don't really like working with this person. This is what I actually want to do. This is what I actually want to talk about, right? So that's something that's really important, is gaining the experience and really taking note of what you're learning inside your coaching container. Here is also something that I would do. If you know other coaches, I would get on a role-playing sales call conversation with them. This is something I used to do with my business coach, and it was really useful because he was able to pinpoint, okay, like you are taking way too long explaining this, or like this doesn't make sense, or like why are you saying this, right? Like things that we just don't think about because again, we're just so tunnel vision in our business, or we've just been taught to do it one way and we've never really explored options outside of that, right? Because we're probably not jumping on a bunch of sales calls with other coaches necessarily. So it's such a unique process. It's such a unique method. And for my students in Magic Mind, they can send over recordings and replays of their sales calls. We get to go through that together. They have coaches in the group that they can host peer coaching sessions with and go back and forth and do some role play sales call conversations. And they get to really uniquely create a sales strategy because I get to spend so much time in their business intimately looking at their conversions and looking at how are they conducting their sales conversations, how do they look, what are they asking, what does the back and forth look like, right? So I'm able to do that with my clients. So again, if you're listening to this episode and you're like, you know what, each one of those things I really need support on, I would make sure that you are on the wait list, and enrollment opens August 28th for Magic Mind. All right. So, all right. Think that's the main thing I want you to know. I mean, sales and marketing are they're essentially like hand in hand, right? And a lot of the time, sales is like, it's like marketing, sales. Right? Like marketing is like the first 40 minutes of the webinar, like a training. That's marketing, right? You're like marketing your offer. And then sales is like the last 20 minutes when you just talk about the transformation and you talk about the problem that you solve and the solution and your process in doing so. And so sales is something that is so particular, and you can address this in your marketing. So if you know you've been attracting a certain type of client, or you know that you keep hearing things like, I can't afford it on the sales calls, then you know this is something that you need to address in your marketing so that you're getting less and less of those objections and those clients, so that you are only selling to your best fit, ready to buy clients, right? And that comes from clarity in your messaging. There might be something in your messaging where you're speaking to people who are just not, like, maybe they don't completely understand what happens in your coaching container, right? It's your job to fix that, to troubleshoot that, to solve for it, and then to fix it in your marketing. And then you start attracting more ready to buy clients, right? Okay. The way that we teach this in Magic Mind is we create a culture of consensual and empowered sales, right? So sometimes we really don't want to come across as salesy. So instead we like swing to the other end of the pendulum and we're like, okay, well, if you don't want to make a decision now, it's totally fine. Just like, let me know if you change your mind, I'll be here, right? But that's not helpful either. Sometimes we have to sit down with our clients and tell them to their face that they are operating in fear, right? And it's very intuitive, right? Sometimes you have to show up and coach them in making this decision, right? If you can tell they're on the fence and they really want to do it and it's literally just fear, sometimes you need to just tell them that and say, hey, you're a really great fit for this. I would love to work with you, right? But you have to come to that decision too. This is what we can do together. Let me lay out exactly how I can help you, and let's go and execute this together. How does that sound? Right? Sometimes you have to like be the one to make the daring claim and say, hey, this is what we can do together. Do you want to do this work? You always want to make sure it's consensual though, right? Like you always want to say, hey, are you down for this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this with me? Do you want to enter this container? Do you want to do this work? Right? It is important that you get a clear yes from them in order to move forward, right? There doesn't need to be manipulation tactics or sleazy sales, cold DMing or forcing someone to buy or close them and get the yes. We don't need to do any of that, right? We can just find very creative ways for people to express interest. So by express interest, that means they can vote on a poll on your stories or comment details in the comment section of your post for more details on your new offer. Or they can DM you, right? And say, it's like, say that you have a program that you're running, and if they have questions, they can DM you and you'll do a little consult in the DMs. Or there's a link in your bio to book a sales call with you, right? So find different ways for people to express interest. And once they've expressed interest, that is your in. And at every point, you just want to continue checking in. Hey, I noticed you expressed interest into this offer. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And then you tell them a little bit about it, and then maybe you ask them some questions. That way you can customize your answer based on what would be most useful for them. And then you would continue having the conversation based on what they're looking for, what would be most useful for them. And then you could ask them, hey, how does this sound so far? Does this sound good? Do you want to keep hearing more? Like, are you interested in learning more? Are you interested in taking it to the next step, right? It's literally like a relationship. Like, you're not going to jump a bunch of steps and just assume someone's in. You want to check in with them and ask the important questions, right? It's really important that they say yes, not to just you, but to themselves. They get to realize, oh, I really do want this. I really do want to invest in this. I really do want to do this work. This is really important to me. This is a priority. Right? It's so important for them to realize that for themselves as well. And that's what we do, right? And this is what I teach in Magic Mind. If you're listening to this episode and you're like, yeah, I would love some personalized support on this. I'd love Tiffany to come in and look at my business and really help me nail down a clear marketing strategy, come in and look at my sales, look at my conversions, see how I can create more aligned fuck yes clients in my business. That's what I'm here to do. I would love to be your business coach. I would love to serve and support you in the best way I know how, which is my high touch mastermind container for businesses. So you have to be a coach, right? You have to be a coach and a CEO in order to be accepted. You already have to have a main offer that you've already sold to. So you already have to have worked with, several clients, and you want to create more in your business, more joy, more frequency, right? More sales, more clarity in your messaging and marketing. And we'll work on that together. You will be a confident and clear CEO in your business that has an abundant mindset and knows how to turn on the sales in their business. Let me help you. If you want to do this work together, make sure you're on the wait list. Applications are going to open on August 28th, which is coming up very, very soon. So if you are on the wait list, you will get an email on August 28th letting you know that applications are open. There's going to be an application form link. Fill it out. We will jump on a sales call and make sure that this is an aligned next step for your business, and you will be officially enrolled in the October 2023 class of Magic Mind. We have so many exciting things planned, including an in-person 3-day event. We have a lot more structure this round as I've run it a couple rounds now, and I really understand what my clients need in order to succeed, and it's going to be so exciting. My students this round and the round that just finished have had some incredible, massive wins. One of them is celebrating a 20K month this month. Another one made their money back from Magic Mind and had made so many sales during the container. Somebody else went from hating marketing to really knowing exactly how to market and turn on the sales in her business, making some really incredible shifts, increasing her revenue, increasing her clients, in her business, and more aligned clients, more specifically. And it's just been amazing. It's just been so much fun and so valuable to be in a room with other coaches. You're all around the same level of business, generating a 6-figure business, wanting to really, really grow in powerful ways. And this is what I'm here to do. This is what I love to do. So make sure you're on the wait list. It's in the show notes in this podcast description. It's also in the link in my bio. You can also DM me if you have any specific questions, and I'd love to chat with you. Other than that, I would love to read your application once it comes through and invite you into this next round of Magic Mind. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe. If this episode resonated with you, please take a screenshot, share it on your Instagram stories, and tag me at tiffanychung.co. I truly appreciate interacting with every one of you. Catch you all on the next one.